coming up on DHN.
Nowadays, most everyone has some sort of internet presence, but your information may not be as secure as you think.
A renowned deaf actress died this past week from a terminal illness.
And you may not see one event in the next Winter Olympics. The injury rate was just too high.
3 were killed in Kansas by a man who police suspect may be a former Ku Klux Klan leader.
DHN, where you can get all the news of the day with signing, voices, and captions.
The Deaf and Hearing Network starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Clayton Ide.
And I'm Melissa Huber. We've got a lot to tell you about, so stay with us. The Boston Marathon kicks off on April 21st, just 1 year after the bombing that killed 3 people and injured 264. Officials say they want the day to be fun, but will be increasing security.
We don't want to intimidate people by the police presence out there. That's not our goal. But believe me, we're going to have plenty of assets, and if need be, they'll be rolling in very quickly. But the goal is to make it a safe family day.
For many, this race marks a new beginning and a chance to move forward.
I was going to run no matter what, and there was nothing that could stop me from being a part of it. It was such an emotional, crazy time.
When the bombs went off at last year's marathon, Sally Duvall's husband, a runner, had just reached mile 25. He was unharmed, but she quickly became determined. Other supporters just finished the one run for Boston Marathon. Organizers estimated 2,000 runners crossed the finish line. The run started in Santa Monica, California, almost a month ago. They crossed through many cities before joining survivors in Boston's Copley Square.
The 16-year-old boy accused of going on a stabbing rampage at his high school could face a smaller punishment if his trial is moved to juvenile court. Right now, the suspect, Alex Reibel, is facing 4 counts of attempted homicide and 21 counts of aggravated assault. If his attorneys can prove that mental health issues played a role in the attack, he could be charged as a juvenile and released by the age of 21. 20 students and 1 adult were wounded during the attack, and 4 remain in critical condition. The school reopened to staff and students on Wednesday.
We're learning more about the man accused of fatally shooting 3 people at a Jewish community center and a nearby retirement home in Overland Park, Kansas. Rhonda Makowiczuk reports the suspect is a 73-year-old former Ku Klux Klan leader.
On the eve of Passover, a lone gunman opens fire at 2 different Jewish facilities near Kansas City. Moments later, another victim is shot and killed at Village Shalom, a retirement community about a mile away. Police arrest Fraser Glenn Cross at a nearby elementary school. As he's being taken away, he shouts a neo-Nazi slogan, Heil Hitler. Cross now faces charges of premeditated murder.
Police say the suspect, also known as Glenn Miller, has ties to other white supremacist groups.
Tensions continue to rise in Europe, but nations are working to de-escalate the situation. DHN reporter Diane Sukovacs has been tracking the crisis in Ukraine.
Thanks, Clayton. A pro-Russian military group attacked one Ukrainian base early Thursday morning. Only 3 people were killed and over 50 were detained by Ukrainian troops. Earlier this week, the interim Ukrainian president gave pro-Russian activists a deadline to leave. That day came and passed with no change. Ukrainian troops have yet to take action. Russia continues to hold power over much of Eastern Europe and is in control of Slaviansk. Foreign diplomats have called emergency meetings to try and resolve the situation.
Victims of the devastating landslide landslide that hit Washington state almost a month ago are still looking for help. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, opened up field offices last weekend. They said more than 400 people have signed up for federal aid and 150 people have visited their offices. 36 people were killed and 10 are still missing. President Obama will visit the disaster site on April 22nd.
The internet is experiencing one of its worst security problems in years. A virus known as the Heartbleed bug allows hackers to peek into your computer's memory and get passwords, account numbers, and even your credit card information. David Bailey says he's worried that his information may have already been taken and used illegally.
There just seems to be more and more incidents of passwords being hacked and your identity being stolen, so that's a concern.
Popular sites like Facebook, YouTube, Google, and Yahoo have already taken steps to secure their sites, and experts suggest you change your account passwords immediately.
I've had my password hacked, and I did respond and inform the authorities, and I changed my password and it seemed to be fine lately, but you still have to monitor your account.
You should wait until sites are secure to change your password, or hackers may be able to gain access to your new information as well. If the website still has a padlock symbol next to the URL address, there's a good chance they have not secured their site yet. The problem may take a long time to resolve, but one Italian cryptographer started the website filippo.io/heartbleed to let you know if a website is still vulnerable to hackers.
After more than a month, the search for missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 now moves deep underwater. Teams have been trying to ping the plane's black boxes, but the information is said to only last for 30 days. Officials were unable to find them and are turning to this new method. It will, however, take much longer to search. The 16-foot unmanned submarine needs 24 hours to complete each mission, and it only covers about 15 square miles. That's about 7,200 football fields, which means a scan of the entire search area, the size of Los Angeles, could take up to 2 months. Recent reports say that one of the pilot's cell phones was picked up where the plane lost contact. Officials say that this proves the plane was most likely flying lower than normal, and satellites show that it did move off course during the flight.
For those of you who missed the blood moon on Tuesday, we wanted to show you footage of this odd occurrence. NASA reported a lunar eclipse that turned the moon a burnt reddish orange. In North America, you can only see the eclipse every 6 months. NASA expects the next eclipse to happen on October 8th of this year.
Gallaudet University celebrated 150 years with the opening of a new museum. The museum displays the history of Gallaudet from being signed into charter by Lincoln in 1864 to today.
Gallaudet has a very rich history. It's been around for 150 years, but it's the only deaf university in the world, the only one.
MJ Benvenue is the chairperson for the new exhibit called Gallaudet 150 Years and Beyond. She says that it proves ASL may change over time, but the language isn't going anywhere.
Yes, languages change, but they're never going to go away, and Gallaudet really represents sign language, and by having this relationship, it's never going to go away.
Gallaudet University isn't the only group celebrating years of success. It has been half a century since the passage of sweeping civil rights legislation. The historic legislation was passed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. President Obama celebrated the anniversary at the LBJ Presidential Library.
Deaf actress Phyllis Frelich died at the age of 70 on April 10th of this year. She had a rare neurological disease that was not treatable. Frelich acted on the stage as well as in front of the camera. In 1980, she won a Tony for Best Actress as Sarah Norman in the stage play Children of a Lesser God. Frelich also received an Emmy nomination for Best Actress in the movie Sweet Nothings in My Ear.
Jimmy Kimmel had some special guests on one of last week's episodes of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Rhonda Makawichuk got the chance to talk with one of the performers.
Jimmy Kimmel brought 3 well-known ASL performers on the show to sign alongside Wiz Khalifa to the song Black and Yellow. Kimmel first said that all 3 women were interpreters, but Joanne Benfield is actually deaf herself. The other 2 performers said they wanted a deaf person on the show as well and not just hearing interpreters. She said it was important to be on the show and prove that deaf people can enjoy and perform music too.
I want to make it clear first off that I was involved in the taping for the Black and Yellow competition not as self-promotion, but as a representative of the deaf community, a person who is immersed in music and has musical talent. There are those in the deaf community not into music, but there are those who are, and I'm one of them.
Benfield said she is able to follow along with the music because she can hear slightly in one ear and practices a lot before her performances.
Dave Letterman is retiring after hosting The Late Show for 21 years. Letterman is leaving the show in good hands, though, as CBS announced he will be succeeded by Stephen Colbert. Colbert has won the Peabody Award and several Emmys for his work on Comedy Central. He's known best by his right-wing pundit character on The Colbert Report. Colbert started his career at Comedy Central with a bang. He signed on for both Strangers with a Candy and The Daily Show within the space of a year. After 8 years on The Daily Show, Colbert started The Colbert Report, which has been running for 10 years. No word as to what will happen to The Colbert Report when he replaces Letterman in 2015.
University of Connecticut men's basketball capped off their season with a championship win against University of Kentucky. The Huskies were banned from last year's NCAA tournament due to their academic performance, but that didn't stop them from beating Kentucky 60-54.
And I said 18 months ago we was last, but now we first. And that's the hard work and the dedication to our student athletes. And it's just not on the basketball court. They doing it in the classroom too.
The men of UConn weren't the only ones who came out on top. UConn women's basketball won the NCAA tournament and ended their season undefeated with 40 wins total. The ladies finished the championship game against Notre Dame 79-58 for their record 9th championship. UConn is the only university to win both men's and women's basketball in the same year, and this is their second time doing so. Bubba Watson won his second green jacket at the 2014 Masters Golf Tournament. Watson broke a tie with 20-year-old Jordan Spieth by hitting 69 shots in the final round of the tournament on Sunday. Watson won his first green jacket back in 2012. This was also the first Masters since 1995 without pro golfer Tiger Woods. Almost 2 years ago, Olympic athlete Michael Phelps retired from competitive swimming. Tuesday, Phelps decided to come out of retirement and return to the world of swimming. He will compete alongside gold medalist Ryan Lochte at the Skyline Aquatic Center in Mesa, Arizona on April 24th through the 26th. Phelps already has 22 Olympic medals, but aims to win more at the 2016 Olympics in Rio. Slopestyle was the Olympics' newest event this year in Sochi, but you may not be seeing it in the next Olympic Games. Many athletes were hurt on the course, including well-known U.S. snowboarder Shaun White, who pulled out of the event before the competition because he was nervous about being injured. There are no specific numbers on how many people were hurt. The head of the Medical and Scientific Department for the International Olympic Committee says he thinks the IOC will give the event one more chance before officially cutting it from the 2018 Winter Olympic Games in Pyeongchang, South Korea. NFL scouts visited Gallaudet University for its first ever pro day last week. Adam Talbot, a senior defensive end, has his hopes set on being drafted into the NFL. He worked out and interviewed with the Washington Redskins and defending Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks. Talbot has won multiple awards during his time at Gallaudet and is currently the only student to have the opportunity to be drafted. Wow, Phelps is coming back to swim again.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he'd retired.
I won't be surprised if he gets another gold medal at the next Olympics.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Ugh, he's fast.
He is a competitor.
Very true.
Well, thanks for watching.
See you in 2 weeks for another episode of DHN.